So what does a 50-plus-year-old do to make their eyes look natural? I'm going to show you. The first thing you want to do is obviously tweeze your eyebrows, but don't over tweeze them. You've probably done that, and it's hard to not keep doing that. But I dare say if you were to let some of those eyebrow hairs just keep growing instead of getting them waxed and keep doing that really thin brow, you probably would have more hair than you think you would have. The other thing you may want to consider is using Grande Brow or a brow serum. Find one that works for you and use it religiously. I started doing that about a year ago, and my eyebrows are so much bigger than they used to be. Now, it's not like I have these 1980s brows again, but I absolutely grew in areas that did not have hair before. So it was a game changer as far as I'm concerned. I think the best kind of tweezer is the kind that is smaller. It's easier to handle. This is a Tweezerman one, and it's chiseled, as you can see. Don't do too much above here. Do only underneath your eyes. Sometimes if you have one, I've had ones all the way up here. So the next thing you want to do is to get a good pair of scissors for cutting those really long eyebrow hairs, and they do grow. So you do want to get them cut periodically. These are great. It has a slope to it. It's easier for you to get into those little small areas. So what you need to do is get yourself a spoolie. Most people have them. Most brush sets will have this. And what you want to do is just kind of push up and then push against your head or your skin. And then you're going to take your scissors and then just cut single individual ones, not all in a row. You can cut 2 in a row, but don't just take it and go all across and have that nice straight line. It just doesn't look natural that way. I tweeze my eyebrows every single day. I will just find random ones here and there, and I'll just go ahead and tweeze them. And I also do above my lip as well, because I get them there as well. And just get rid of all those ones that just don't seem to be in the place that they should be. But again, be careful, don't go crazy. How often do I cut my eyebrows? Just whenever they need it. If my eyebrow hairs seem to be kind of drooping more, which mine do, this one tends to go up more and this one droops down for some reason. Whenever that happens, it usually means that my eyebrow hairs are longer and it's time to trim them a little bit. Okay, so now it's time to fill in those sparse areas. What products are you going to use? There are so many different types of eyebrow products. I have pretty much stuck to these 2 types. I might change up the products, but the type of brow products, I've pretty much stuck with these, and they work beautifully as far as I'm concerned. So the first one would be a brow pencil. I like the kind that are a really fine tip. These will make little hair-like strokes if you're good at it. I am not good at that. I take the spoolie on my brush itself, and I will never use one of these without a spoolie. It drives me insane because I don't want to put something down and have to pick it up, the pencil, flip it, and use the spoolie. It just goes so much faster. Take your spoolie and brush your hairs downward so that everything is going down, and what you're going to be able to do is reveal the hairline on top of your brow. You don't want to go too much outside of that. You can go a little bit, but you don't want to go too much outside of the hairline. Push them all the way down and then start taking your fine tip and just fill those in. So I usually fill in the middle wherever it is the sparse and then go up to the top using very quick little strokes. No straight line, no long lines, small little lines, and you're going to go kind of a soft touch. You'll get the hang of it. You'll know how hard you have to push. If you have to push really hard to get a good brush stroke or pencil stroke, then you probably need to use a different product. A brow pencil should come off relatively easy so you can get it on the brow skin, not just on the brow hair. If it seems like your brow product is getting only on the hair that's there, you need to use a different product. You want to actually get to the skin underneath the hair to be able to fill that in. that is one of the keys to be able to have more natural looking brows. So once I filled in the whole top area, then I will take it down and fill in the tail of my brow and fill that in, and it should go to a point at the bottom. It shouldn't be a straight line. It should go thinner. A natural brow will go to a thinner. It doesn't have to be really, really thin. Some people have very thick brows, but it's thinner compared to the front of their brow. Does that make sense? Go ahead and just keep following your hairline. Once you've done the top and you filled in the side, now you're going to go under your brow and you're going to just fill in those sparse areas. Now again, you don't necessarily want to have this very hard straight line. Use those small strokes and just fill in those areas. Now what happens if you go outside of your brow hair and now you've got this color on your skin where you don't necessarily want it? What I do is I use these Q-tips that I absolutely love. And you can get them in drugstores, at Ulta. You can get them a lot of places. You get them on Amazon. I've used a few different ones. I'll link some below. What this does is the little tip of this is really hard. This is not a flimsy tip. You can go right underneath your brow and clean up anything that went outside of the brow area. Of course, you can do that anywhere, but I use it specifically. Sometimes I will actually, on purpose, take my pencil and go outside of the brow hair area just because I know I can get a much better look by filling it in and then taking this underneath it to get that nice clean line without having it look like a drawn on line. All right, so now we've done the top, we've done under, we've done the little point. Now you're going to fill in the middle area. The key to this is to not draw this really straight line underneath and then to now brush it up. What I do is I brush small little strokes starting at the bottom and just keep going up and blending. A natural brow will be lighter close to your nose and it will get darker as it goes out. So as it goes up, it can get darker. So you want that to be natural. The more you do it, again, the easier it gets. So I will just keep doing those small little strokes. And each time I'm doing strokes, I'm turning it over and I'm using my spoolie to blend out. Your spoolie is a blender and it's also an eraser. So anytime you think it looks weird, brush it with a spoolie. If you make a complete mess, you can actually take this and almost take the entire thing off and start all over again without having to actually use makeup remover. That's why you want it to be on the end of your brow pencil and not having to pick up another one. That's a pain. Okay, your goal at the end of doing this is to make them look like they're related. They don't have to be twin sisters, but they do need to look like they are related. And I've made the joke so many times, but a lot of times mine do look like they're more distant cousins than even sisters. So do your best. Some people's eyebrows are so different. My eyebrows really are not the same. In so many ways, they're not the same. This one is lower than this one. This one doesn't have as strong an arch as this one. It's just, I'm trying to even it all out to make it look like they go together. Again, the more you do that, the more you'll get used to your eyebrows. Okay, one of the best things you can do while you're doing this is not do this the whole time. If you're doing this the whole time, what happens is you are going to then lower your eyes and they're not going to look the same. You're going to be like, oh, now it looks crazy. So it's fine if you're trying to look in a mirror and trying to see it, but then put your eyes normal and look at yourself straight on and see, okay, does it look like they go together? Another trick is to just put your head up and kind of go close and look in the mirror and just kind of go, okay, do they kind of look the same? Do they look like they're in line? All those things. So those are my little tricks to get that natural related look and not the weirdness where one looks like it's completely opposite than the other. Once you've filled in with your pencil, sometimes the pencil will grab a hold of your hair. It won't look quite as good, and that's why I love combining a pencil with some kind of powder. I like the one from Sigma. Every brand has one. They're not all created equal, of course. Some are better than the others, but this one is my absolute favorite. It's from Sigma, the Brow Powder Duo, and I'm in the shade medium, and I actually use this one. Nope, I use this one the most, even though it's the lighter one. I like that it's got a cool tone to it. What this does is this fills in those areas where it just looks off. A lot of times for me, this brow will look lighter than this one. Well, not a lot of times, every time. I must have more hair, I guess I do have more hair on this side right here than I do here. So this always looks sparse. Sometimes when I'm using a pencil, if I keep going over the same spot, what happens is the pencil wax itself will actually just start picking itself up. You guys have probably had this happen, and it's frustrating. There's a couple ways to remedy that. One is with using your spoolie and brushing it out and then starting again. The other is to go ahead and use your powder. Pounce it in, just like that. Get off a little extra if you need to. So in the middle here, I'll brush it up, but on the top here, I'll literally push it in and fill in the area and brush it through. And then this is more of like a push. It's like this kind of a push kind of thing instead of brushing. The other thing that it will do is if you have any kind of shine underneath, like let's say your skin is a little shiny underneath your eyebrow, that will come through when people see you, and it doesn't look natural because most people do not have a shine in their eyebrows. So what you want to do is kind of take that shine out, and the powder does that. I also think it elongates how long my brows look good because this is kind of like a set for what I did with the pencil. So I hope that all makes sense. If it doesn't, ask me below and I'll try to answer your questions. I'm not a makeup artist. I just know what works for me, and this is what has worked for me to have as natural looking brows as possible. The next thing to do is to actually stop at this point. Don't put any other product in. If you're going to use eyeshadow in any way, go and do that next, because a lot of times those products will get onto your eyebrows and now you have to contend with those and you want to cover up anything that got on them. So I will stop at this point and I will put on my eyeshadow and probably mascara as well. Okay, then I come back and now it's time to use a colored gel. I like to use 2 products to brush through my eyebrows after I'm done instead of one in the same. I like e.l.f. Wow Brow. It doesn't give too much hold. Some people like that, and I have said I like it, but in the end I've actually decided I really like it if it doesn't have too much hold. What I want this to do is to cover up any eyeshadow that got onto my eyebrows, cover up a gray hair or a blonde hair, color those in, it kind of control how they look and have them all be looking pretty much the same color. That's what the role of this brow gel is. Not particularly to have it be holding it in place. For holding it in place, I use a different product, and there's so many out there. e.l.f. has one, I mean all of them have one. I choose to use one that I actually make. It's not really me making it. I did a whole video about this, so I will link that one below. But it's actually kind of a DIY brow gel using a gel that you actually put in your hair. But I mean, your brows are your hair, so you can totally use it that way. And this is amazing. It holds your brows so well, and it will hold them all day as long as you don't scratch at them or do something or get them wet or something. But they're really amazing. So I will brush that through and I'll let it dry a little bit, and then I will brush it through a second coat just real fast, and it is the last thing I do after I put all the rest of my face. Literally, I have my mascara, lipstick, everything is on, because what I'm probably going to do is get dressed and put a shirt on or something like that, and it will make my eyebrows look askew. Sometimes it'll go on right like lipstick and eyebrows at the same time, and I'm out the door. I know it may confuse some of you about all the different types of brow products out there. So the video right here will take you through all of what they are and how to use them, and it'll make it just a little bit easier for you. I'm also going to link that other video where it talks about how to make my DIY brow gel. So I'm going to link that one as well. I will see you maybe in one of those or another one. God bless.